Okay, Mike Messier. Why I don't care about the Olympics, even though I might watch some of them. Okay, so I'm going to make a statement, making sure that this is on me here, and it is. I might watch some Olympics. I might have them on as background fodder and, something to talk about, something in the background noise. But I'm not into it. I don't care about it. And I kind of wish I did care. But it's almost like Santa Claus. It's almost like trick-or-treating or something that you kind of outgrow. Where, as children or generations before, we're sold on this bill of goods that national pride and pride in your country and we have to win the most medals. Well, we're the biggest. I mean, we're not actually. We're not the most populated country, we being the United States. Um, so, you would think in some regard that the country that has the most people or the most interest in any particular sport, say Canada with hockey, or some of these countries with curling or whatever the fuck, you'd think that they would just win their sports, or we, United States with basketball, should automatically win. So it's just, it really only seems to matter these days if a country does well or wins a gold, or a country's who's typically or traditionally very good in a sport, i.e., United States with basketball. If you lose, then you're humiliated. There's no real honor in winning something you're expected to win. Like if you have the dream team of 1992 winning the gold medal in Olympics, who cares? You know what I mean? And when they try to do that again, was it 96 or 2000 or 2004 when they got like the bronze or something? My point is, I think people just kind of outgrow blind nationalism. Like, you're not going to sell me this bill of goods that these Olympic athletes really pertain to me. I'm sorry if that's unpatriotic, because I am a patriot, but somebody skiing or a male figure skater has nothing to do with my life. He's not supporting my independent film work. He's not supporting me as a screenwriter. He doesn't care about my fledgling acting career. So I don't care about, Johnny Ice Skates. And they're not even featuring the ice skaters themselves as the stars. They're featuring this commentary team that's supposed to be so outlandish and fabulous. And I don't care about them either. So to me, it's almost like a nostalgia act. It's like the Olympics are just, there's a nostalgia routine. If anyone I feel sorry for, it's how do I say it? The Olympic athletes of Russia. I feel bad for them that they're humiliated, or they're trying to humiliate them by not playing their anthem, but they're winning more medals than the United States, at least it was last night. So, and the reason is they're being punished for the sins of previous Russian athletes who did a lot of steroids. So, my point is, with all the corruption of the Olympics, and look, I saw a thing on Real Sports, Bryant Gumbel, and they did this whole expose on how these cities, not Russian, but any city that hosts the Olympics, they don't really get a lot of money. They actually go broke, or they lose a lot of money. And I think it was one of the more recent Olympics, maybe just a couple of years ago, where building the stadium was like they were kicking people out of their homes. And I can't remember which country, because everything's a blur, but kicking people out of their homes, these poverty-ridden people, in order to build these massive stadiums that they'll use once for the Olympics and never again. And then people who are natives to that populace can't even afford to buy tickets to these events, or aren't interested because they're losing their homes. So, to me, and the Olympic Committee, apparently, according to this Real Sports thing and other things I've seen and heard and read, the people that run the Olympics treat themselves like fine wine. They treat themselves to caviar and limousine rides and everything. So it's not even about the Olympic athletes. It's about the Olympic Committee, these wheelers and dealers who just negotiate themselves the best deals on the backs of others. As far as the actual sports goes, a lot of these sports, let's be honest, they're not mainstream. They're not your baseball, your boxing, your football. I mean, what if football was an Olympic sport? Then you'd see some interest. And it sounds crazy, but why is it crazy? A lot of these sports are kind of second-rate, third-rate as far as interest level. I'm not putting down the athletes, but Someone who wants to bobsled, how does that affect me one way or another? If the greatest bobsledder in the world is from China or the United States or Canada or France, how does that bobsledding guy affect me one way or the other? How does that represent me? Think about it. He doesn't. He represents your country. How? You know what I mean? Like, what difference does it make to me, or how does it reflect on me if Lindsey Vonn is 50 and is the greatest skier in the world? It doesn't. It's her accomplishment. It's her dream. It's her athleticism. Her life. It's not representing Mike Messier and wherever the fuck I am. So I guess this bill of goods that they try to wrap your faith in or your patriotism in, and we have a very divided country. We have a very divided world right now. There's not a lot of unity. There's not a lot of peace or love or any of that good stuff. So this whole Olympic spirit, it's really just a way to kind of make people live vicariously through others, which I'm opposed to. If you're old, if you're wheelchair bound, or if you can't leave the house for whatever reason, yeah, watch the Olympics, get a thrill. But if you're capable of doing things, then do things. You know what I mean? Or even if you are wheelchair bound, and I'm not picking on people, I'm just saying you can enter the wheelchair Olympics or something, because just sitting there and watching the Olympics hours upon hours and putting any type of big thing into it, it's just not doing it for me. Now, the other thing, the whole going from 4 years to 2 years, I think was a mistake. I don't know if you're old enough to remember, but at one point, the Olympics, it was an Olympic year, 1996 or whatever the fuck was the last one, where both winter and summer games took place in the same calendar year. I think that was a better idea, because that way the Winter Olympics, no offense to the Winter Olympiads, but that was more like they were the warm-up act in the winter, and then you get to the real deal in the summer. So it was like, yeah, it's an Olympic year. And for a while, I believe both Olympics and elections took place at the same year. So you had some hardcore years, where like every 4 years, like, man, it's an Olympic year, it's an election year, presidential election year. You get excited about a year like that. Like, that was a big deal. But now it's like, oh, every other year, you know, every 2 years we have some type of Olympic. And it's like, now it's not a big deal anymore, because it's just, here it is again. So, meaning that, yes, you don't have a year where you have both summer and winter, but they're stretched out. The idea was to kind of concentrate fully on one or the other, but to me, it just makes it, for the common fan, it just blurs it. And I think that was an error, okay? So that's my complaint. Look, the other thing is, you know, I know the whole deal with sexism and stuff, but the reality is, a lot of times when men watch female athletes, they want to see attractive female athletes, and a lot of these women are attractive, but then as you get older, you don't want to look at these very younger gymnasts and stuff, because you feel like a creep, you know, so you don't want to watch that anymore. And just being honest with you, that's the truth. So you might say, oh, you're a creep for even saying that. I'm just giving you inside the mind of a man who knows what it's like, you know, like you're watching these female athletes, like a Lindsey Vonn. I mean, what is she, 30, 40, whatever. But if you're watching some of these other athletes, you're like, oh, should I be watching these gymnasts? Should I be watching these swimmers? Probably not. So you feel bad, and you don't want to watch them. So then you just lose further interest. So on and on it goes. And just telling you why the Olympics don't mean a fuck to me anymore. So Olympics, go USA, whatever the fuck. But I just don't care. It doesn't mean much. USA, hope you win a bunch of medals, but just, you know, just more crap on TV.